Considering that we live in a world that promotes the hustle and grind, go, 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 be the most stressed out you can be, it's no surprise that people have stress levels through the roof. Have you been wondering how to reduce your stress level? Stay tuned to this video to find out. Hi, my name is Tiffany Toombs. I'm a high-performance mindset coach that helps people break free from the cycle of stress and burnout so they can truly start living life on their terms. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that you can reduce your stress levels to become a person you don't even recognize anymore, to reprogram your nervous system to a state of calm and flow, and to just feel happier and more at peace. Let's get into it. So the first thing that we need to do in order to truly lower our stress levels is we need to understand what stresses we have in our everyday life. And I recommend that you create a list of all the stresses that you have. The ones off the top of your head might be things like money or bills or kids or work or bosses or marriages or relationships with friends or family. Make a list of all of those things. On top of that, I want you to know that there's a bunch of hidden stresses in your life that can add to the stress that you're already feeling. You see, the thing is that our body doesn't differentiate between good stress and bad stress. It doesn't say, okay, this is emotional stress and this is like these hidden stressors that we don't even know are going on. We're gonna put them in 2 separate buckets. It just knows stress. So even if you're doing all the things that you should do, going to the gym, pushing yourself physically, you might actually be making things worse if your stress levels are already incredibly high. If you have a ton of things already on your list, and then we add all these hidden stressors that you don't even know about yet to that list, that can become an overwhelming list to look at. So on top of physical stresses like going to the gym, walking, moving around constantly, a lack of sleep, there's also stresses like chemical stresses. Did you know that a woman getting ready in the morning, just showering, doing her hair and makeup and getting dressed is exposed to over 160 different chemicals. And a lot of these chemicals have things like disrupting hormones in our body. They might be carcinogens, which means they're cancer promoting chemicals, and so many other things. In fact, in the past year alone, I have seen deodorants, sunscreens, and toothpastes be recalled by the manufacturers because they discovered for the first time that they had carcinogens in them. Now, we've known for a long time that they had cancer-causing agents, but this is becoming more and more public knowledge. So there are so many chemicals that we come into contact with through our daily hygiene practices, by cleaning our house, by cooking our food, and by drinking water. Our food can also be a stressor that we're not aware of. For example, many people are promoted to take things like fish oils for the omega-3s and the omega-6s, but in the long run, taking those can actually be quite inflammatory and hazardous to the body. Omega-3s and omega-6s are what we call polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs, which mean that they oxidize under high heat and become cancer-causing. Now, our body temperature, either 98 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.5 degrees Celsius, is considered high heat. And so when we're ingesting these, whether it's through supplements or through the food that we're eating on a regular basis, we can actually be doing more harm than good. Other things that can cause insensitivities or inflammation in the body include gluten, highly processed dairy, and nuts and seeds. So we want to be aware of the foods that we're eating that are also causing more stress to the body. Other hidden stresses include environmental or thermal stresses. So if you're always in air conditioning, if you're always in a heated home, for example, that can cause issues and stress on the body. If you live in an area of high pollution, that can cause a lot of stress on your body as well. And then lastly, we have electromagnetic stresses. These are the pollution that come from your tech, from your TV, from your Wi-Fi router, from your phone, from your computer and your laptop. This actually speeds up the frequency of the body, which can cause our body to fall out of its natural rhythm and that in itself becomes a stressor. So make a list of as many stresses as you can think about. Do not let this list stress you out. That is not the point. We're just identifying all the stresses that we currently have so we can start making change. We can't change something if we don't know it's there. So make the list, let go of the judgment, let go of any feelings that come up with it, and then we can move forward with step number 2. Before I share with you what that is, I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out brand new content just like this video every single week that's going to help you heal the body, heal the nervous system, heal any trauma, which is another stress you might be carrying around, master your mindset so that you can fully live life on your terms. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and like this video while you're there. Now, once we have identified all the stresses that we have, we can start to figure out what changes we need to make. Now, what most people want to do, what the desire is to see, okay, I have this massive list of stresses. I'm just going to change them all this week. However, our nervous system is not wired for change. In fact, our body and our minds actively resist change. So if we make too much change too fast, we can actually end up in self-sabotage. We can end up more in burnout and more stressed out. So it's kind of counterintuitive to have this all or none mentality of change. Instead, pick one stressor a week and focus on removing that one stressor. Now, the technique that I like to use to prioritize the stresses is called Pareto's Principle. You may have heard of it as the 80-20 rule. Which stressor is going to take 20% effort for me to change, but is going to give me an 80% result? Or return on investment. So for example, when I started making changes to my health and to my life, dramatically reducing my stress levels, I started with things like swapping my toothpaste that had fluoride, which is a known neurotoxin, which means it attacks our nervous system, and I swapped it for a non-fluoride brand. There are plenty of amazing brands out there like Tom's that you can do this with very quickly. 20% effort, I just had to buy a new tube of toothpaste and I got an 80% return. Now I was putting less fluoride back in my body. You could also look at things like getting more sleep, drinking more water, changing out your deodorant, changing out your hygiene products. All of those things are simple swaps that you can make that are not going to dramatically stress the body. Now, as we make more of these changes, we're going to have less stresses happening, and then it'll be easier to make 2 changes a week down the track. But we have to start small and then slowly build momentum from there. Before I share with you the last thing that you can do to reduce your stress levels, I want to hear from you. Of the hidden stresses that I mentioned before, which was the biggest surprise to you? Go to the comments below and let me know. Now, as we are actively reducing and removing stressors from our life, it will help you to add a mindfulness practice to your day. This doesn't have to be complicated, and if you're like, but Tiffany, I'm already so stressed out, I barely have time. It can be something that you can incorporate into your daily routine already. So for example, while you're driving to the office, you can practice taking mindful breaths instead of listening to the news on the radio. Simply paying attention to your breath as you're driving will bring your focus there. It will bring your focus out of your problems and out of the news that you're listening to and onto something that you can control. It could be starting with 2 minutes or 5 minutes of meditation. It could be as you sit down to eat dinner with your family, you each take an opportunity to say what you're really grateful for that day. It could be just doing some basic journaling before you go to bed at night, or going for a walk without your phone and without any technology so you can just be immersed in nature. There are many, many ways that you can get more mindfulness in your life without complicating your life or adding activities that take up a whole lot of time. Now, if you want to know more about the hidden stressors, more mindfulness exercises that you can do, I would love to invite you to get my Stress Reset Replay. I ran a workshop recently where I talked about the impact of stress on the body, all the hidden stressors. I went deep on this topic, all the hidden stressors and what you can replace them with, as well as how you can start to reduce your stress levels at an even greater amount. There's over 3 hours worth of training replays for you to check out, and they're absolutely free. So all you have to do to access these free replays is go to stressresetreplay.com or click on the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.